to the crib. Oh. I didn't know we were gonna do this tonight, but this is cool. Alex Levine. Happy birthday.
Could you give me that Johnny Walker?
Yeah, man. Hold on.
I'm trying to think about a real argument that we had about something really stupid that he wanted to do, because there'd been so many.
Alex's birthday. We celebrate Alex in a number of ways. I actually called my friend Ira over at the New York Times and asked if he would be so kind to write an article on Alex. Unfortunately, there's a Hurricane Irma, and it's taking up most of his day. So he promises me that in the future he will. But what is Alex? Who is Alex? What is the essence of him? These are the questions.
So me and Alex grew up in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn. You know, he was born when I was 1.5, so, you know, we've known each other since then.
The thing that I remember the most about living down the street from Ryan and Alex was this very cute memory I have from when we were in school, and I would always see them from afar, and I always wanted to hang out with them. But I didn't think of myself as the cool kid.
Our parents got divorced, and you know, we were the product of a broken home, and as long as there's broken homes, there's going to be punk rock, you know.
I'm Alex's stepbrother. Double step.
As soon as we figured out how to play guitars, we started writing songs. Then we started hanging out down the block with our other childhood friend, Adam Reish. And we started recording music with him on a karaoke machine. And that's when we were really starting to get things going.
I think we drew a lot of inspiration from our surroundings. Bagel Boy, the Bridgeview Diner. These were all places that really meant something to us.
We were out of school, down the block, and I ran into them at the bagel shop.
We ate a lot of bagels at Bagel Boy. Alex couldn't eat too much of a bagel, but I ate bagels enough for him.
We were about to eat our bagels. Alex couldn't really eat anything, and I noticed this. So I asked him, "Alex, what's going on?" And he was very kind to me. He was very friendly. He invited me even to his birthday party when he had just met me. It was a Ninja Turtle birthday party too. I have the cutest memory of it as well. I can show you. Let me reach into here. I've had this for years. Look at that. That's Alex, and that's me.
There was a candy shop just across the street from us in Bay Ridge, and I would run into Alex there as a young boy. Even at a young age, he had a taste for fine dark chocolate, and he would say things to me like mouthfeel or single origin, referring to a country which at the time I didn't know. Of course, now I know where Nicaragua is.
And Alex, you know, constantly goes back to those experiences. For his lyrics, for his art, you know, he'll always be just a guy from Bay Ridge.
You know, if it wasn't for him, I'm not sure I'd be, you know, in Bay Ridge still, because I'm stuck here.
We were two little kids in love, becoming really good friends. Our relationship sadly didn't go anywhere.
Ever since we were little kids, you know, Alex has been entertaining, whether it be dressing up as Charlie Chaplin when we were, 4 years old and doing dances for our grandma.
He was always very adamant in his music. I always wanted to support him. I always thought that he had a very incredible talent.
He's always been the showman,
Since a young age, he's been so driven, laser focused, and just always knew and always chasing his spot, in the Hall of Fame of relatively obscure artists that things don't really ever work out for. He's always strived to achieve that kind of mediocrity. I think that his heroes have all been people who almost got there. And the way that he has emulated them over the years has been very impressive.
We all played each other music, but Alex really showed us the good stuff, like Real Big Fish and Against All Authority.
David Byrne. John Cage.
Meatloaf's Bat Out of Hell 2.
We shared common musical influences growing up. Maybe not necessarily the conventional, band sense, but Birds, namely woodpeckers,
Counting Crows.
Kid Creole and the Coconuts.
old-timey cash registers.
Yoko Ono.
He liked Sheryl Crow a lot.
The original cast recording of Phantom of the Opera.
The crack of the bat when you hit that first home run in Little League.
The Dadaist movement.
I think Alex really liked Linkin Park when they first came out.
Lou Reed's Metal Machine music.
Neil Diamond.
Bush. Alex liked Bush a lot.
Punk between the years of 1975 and 1976. Or between 1981 and 1984, but nothing else.
Flogging Molly. I think Flogging Molly was one of Alex's favorite bands.
We used to stay up late, listen to Meatloaf, and wonder, how can music be this beautiful?
There's a few things I am thinking of influence-wise that I'm not gonna name because either you won't know or it'll bore you.
When we were kids, he was really outgoing and I was shy. And that was a big help to me because I wanted to get things done, but I was too shy to do anything. And when I was a little fat kid, I used to have to ask Alex to go make me a peanut butter and jelly sandwich in the kitchen, even though our parents, I'm sure, knew it was for me because he couldn't eat peanut butter and jelly. He would go make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and then bring it to me, and I would just sit there and eat it and get fat,
I stole this from his mother. Don't tell him. But this is Alex from as a little baby, already holding up a guitar.
So when we were kids, we wanted to be from California. We thought California was really cool. We didn't think Brooklyn was cool at all. So we remember we had this friend named Michael Borman, and he was a skateboarder, and we thought that was really cool. So everything that he showed us, we loved, and he played us this tape of the song Date Rape by Sublime. And we thought it was the best thing we ever heard.
His palette, songwriting aside, his palette is refined.
I remember our first session in the summer of 1995. Alex, who was 8 at the time, asked me, who was 10 at the time, to produce a track of his. At that time, I had already had a great amount of respect for Alex as an artist. I thought that his third grade output was very strong, much stronger than his second grade output. Showed a tremendous amount of growth as an artist, I think. And he brought this song to me, and I asked him how it went, trying to get the feel, trying to get the vibe of the song, which of course is what I do. Plays the song for me, and it goes like this. And I say to Alex, when you play the guitar, aren't you supposed to take your left hand and put your left hand on the frets so that you can make chords? And he looked at me and said, that's a great idea. We've been working together ever since.
And then, we kept playing music. Alex started making movies, documentaries really. I became a football star, and Zach, he was living on the street in the West Village. I don't really know what's going on with Zach at that time.
So later in the school years, when we were in high school, I remember Alex being the only one who really wanted to take his career, or this music career, more seriously. Zach was, I keep hearing these rumors of him that he was on the streets, but I don't believe those rumors, because he comes from such a nice family, you know?
Alex encouraged me to reject materialism and find a deeper meaning in things. So I took it far. I sold all my CD collection, and I ended up taking the money to support my life on the street where I was living on Horatio Street in the West Village.
We were like 14, 15, and then we met back up with Reach and we got back on track.
Years had gone by. Our lives had all taken different paths, and eventually we all reconnected and decided that it was time to once and for all make one great album. So I went into the studio every other weekend, and we made perhaps the most indecisive, unclear, average record that we have ever made. And I remember at the end being so proud of ourselves that we had created something so unremarkable.
And he invited me to his first show ever. Let me show you. I also have the flyer. I kept this flyer so deeply in my heart. I'm tearing up a little bit. Look at this. Their first show ever. It wasn't called the So-So Glows. It was called Every Other Weekend. It was near CBGB's. It was a $3 show. I didn't have to pay that. I was in the VIP list.
The band approached me and that they were going to start a new project. And they show me this picture of the logo, and I say, So-So Gloss. It didn't really make any sense to me at the time, but it makes a lot of sense now.
So these guys continued playing a lot of shows. I wasn't around for most of them. I went to a few at the Wicked Monk.
Then 2004 rolled around, and me and Zach got our first apartment in Williamsburg. That's when we started drinking a lot and rocking a lot.
They moved all the way up north in Williamsburg. I ended up going to LIU. Wasn't around as much as I said. And I think what got me the most was this one night I had too many Jaeger bombs, and I called up Alex, and he invited me to this amazing dive bar in Williamsburg. I was so excited, and he gave me the first EP, which I did not know. They were already playing as another band called the So-So Glos.
We were shooting, I shot this in Staten Island with Adam in some School of Rock studio that Adam was a producer in, and that's when we recorded Junkie Story. Honestly, at this point, I thought like Alex was the voice of my generation. He was my brother, of course, so I'm a little biased, but...
Is Alex the artist of a generation? Alex is definitely an artist of a generation.
This is the back. It's only got 4 songs. One of them, I must say, called 17. I don't think Alex will ever admit to this, but I think it's about me. But we'll just leave it right there, Alex. You know, between you and me.
But, you know, some say that some of the best So-So Glos songs were when Tim and I were in the band, the other two brothers, but, you know.
But you know, when we were starting the So-So Glos, we were very inspired. We wanted to change the world. Not like what you see today.
Since day one, our primary goal, making music above all else, was to someday get to the place that we could play in a band that people would always compare to The Clash. That's what we really wanted. We didn't really want to scratch the surface or go any deeper than that. I think most of all, if people thought that we played in a band that sounded like The Clash, for the most part, people would think that's cool, and you know, the rest of our lives would just take care of itself because we were in a band that sounded like The Clash.
2007, the beginning of it all.
This is where Alex and I first met while I was in my second year of music conservatory. We were at New York's prestigious Porcelanosa. I was heavy into madrigal semester, studying the lute and the lyre, and as you can imagine, things got pretty fiery up in those practice spaces, so I was out here just, you know, taking in some fresh air, and I felt this frantic energy approaching me from the southwest. And it was Alex. And he sat down next to me as if we were familiars. And he asked if he could bum a cigarette from me. I told him I don't smoke cigarettes. Upon which he took a pack of cigarettes from his pocket, unwrapped them, handed them to me, and then asked again, "Will you bum me a cigarette now?" I've been an avid smoker since that day.
It's tough being the brother that's not in the band. It's tough being the brother that was a drummer that was never asked to be in the band. But they had something good going. And I guess it was my job to take the photos, and it was my job to bring the girls backstage. Shit's tough, you know? fuck everything up. I guess that's what the beast does. But, you know, Alex didn't teach me much. But I learned a lot. Maybe too little.
He asked me what I did, and I told him I was attending conservatory. He laughed and laughed and laughed. Showed us that devilish, impish grin we've all come to know and love. And I asked him, what's so funny? To which he replied, and I will never forget this verbatim. You fool, he said to me, music cannot be taught, nor can it be learned. To which I replied, what does that even mean?
I dropped out of college to follow the band. I went with them of a couple tours. We had so much fun.
Tour life is hard, man, you know? It's hard to be on tour with the girls and the booze and the cigarettes and the drugs and the booze and the, you know, the bugs.
Just touring cities, drinking tons of beer.
A lot of bugs. Everyone's got bugs.
First thing you do when you get into a hotel room, turn on the TV. Second thing, call the fucking front desk for the wake-up call for the continental breakfast. There is no continental breakfast.
Call for a fucking wake-up call anyway.
Why?
Ask for a late checkout.
What's up, San Francisco?
Every night I sit on stage, I look out. I see Alex. I'm reminded of a show at the Stork Club in God knows what year. But when I saw him, I'm watching from behind, I'm seeing the whole band, I'm seeing Ryan doing his rock and roll thing, I'm seeing Matt Elkin with his precision little guitar. And then I see Alex. And the energy, the heart, the magnitude of performance. I'm wondering, is anybody seeing this but me?
I remember looking at my brothers and just thinking, man, we are rocking right now. We are rocking California right now. And I remember looking out into the crowd, and there wasn't that many people there, but there was some punks and a sound guy. I don't remember his name. You know, my dad was there for Thanksgiving, and you know.
We came home, but we had nowhere to stay. So we ended up finding this really amazing spot that they called the Marriott Hotel. And we turned it into our home. And Alex, you have to see this guy, such a handyman.
I remember this one time we were building at the Market Hotel, and I put a drill through Alex's thumb and ripped his thumb open. And we had to go to Woodhall, get stitches, because we had a show that night. And he played the show stitched up. That's inspiring.
Well, this, you know, a lot of people ask me, how'd you get that shot? And, you know, it's not that simple. For one, you had to be Alex's brother. And then for two, you had to have a camera. And then for three, you'd have to be able to live with rats and maggots in the Market Hotel. A lot of people think I only rented a room there, and I barely lived there because At the time, I was still living in Brooklyn Heights with my dad because I could only handle a few nights there, and I really needed an air conditioner in that hot summer.
The hardest part about living at a DIY venue is probably the winter. Let me tell you about the winter. I wasn't used to this. I wasn't used to the winter. Thankfully, I was surrounded by very good friends, and we would literally snuggle up and watch movies. I remember this one time we were drinking hot toddies. It was a very cold winter night, drinking hot toddies, watching Stand By Me, my favorite movie. It was the life I always wanted.
We always strove to do bigger. Alex came to us and said, we need to reduce our carbon footprint. We all shook our heads, yes. And Alex was the one who spearheaded this whole notion. I mean, he invented the idea of a veggie oil bus. It was Alex who said, we should release music that can be planted. Thus, we released Tourism Terrorism in 2010 on a record that you could plant and it would become a bamboo or another indigenous flora.
He said here we don't name chords. We wait for the chords to tell us their names. This, for example, he strummed out on the guitar. This chord's name is Skylar. If you recall the minor hit Isn't It a Shame off of the Socialos 2009 short player, I remember him strumming that for the first time and I said, what is that chord? Has that chord told you its name yet? He said, that chord's name is Chad.
After the Market Hotel and we started at Shea Stadium and we were really hitting the stride then.
Y'all ready to dance?
Living at Shea Stadium was definitely an upgrade from the Market Hotel. I gotta say, I loved the parties, there weren't any Jaeger bombs, but we managed.
20 Meadow Street is where we were hanging out, and we had a lot of good times there.
Alex built his own room, you know. He is a master of the power tools. He built the stage. He managed to put a mattress on his little nook above the sound booth.
Alex always felt the need to customize his surroundings. I remember when he cut little holes into the cardboard so that he could see the bands play at Shea from his bed while he was laying down.
We really just wanted to recreate, that feeling that we felt at the Stork Club.
Only complaint I got, the music was too loud. What's up with that? Does it really have to be that loud?
The live show. Something unexpected. It's Alex who elevates the art form.
We didn't have a lot of money, but I flew myself out to France and I went on tour with them. France, Germany, Switzerland, and just girls screaming before they even came on stage.
Talking about the kids putting on the Ritz. Kids putting on the Ritz.
They had a nickname for me at this time. I don't know if I embraced it or if I led them on about it, but Phantom Beast. It's the Phantom Beast. What is the Phantom Beast? I'm not really sure. I'll tell you what, dude. When I was beasting, some of the best photos were taken. Oh, right there. Oh, right there. Wrong. I had an intern scorch eBay, and we got this from Japan. We have some of the original photos. The original photos from that Europe tour. Cost a pretty penny, but you know. Yeah, I mean, you know, I sold a lot of these photos for a lot of money, and under the alias of the Beast, the Phantom.
Veracity in art is important. Truth is the essence of what art is, and if that is true, which it is, Alex knows it more than any other person.
The moment that I really felt Alex turn the corner as a songwriter, it's actually a funny story. It was a conflict over an inanimate object that he so brilliantly personified and turned into this incredible song that I think really marked the beginning of his transition as an artist. I have the inspiration for that song here with us today. This is the Fred Perry. This is the bag that inspired some of the greatest lyrics Alex has ever written. You know, I think really pushed Alex to new heights as a lyricist when he wrote the chorus, "Don't you dare touch my fucking Fred Perry. Get your hands off of my fucking Fred Perry. Don't you ever touch my Fred Perry. My Fred Perry